Namaskar, everybody. This is G. Vijay Kumar from honestastrologer.com, and this is one of my first, in fact, my the first interview on my channel. This is my great friend Muthu Ilango, and he's the guy who got me out from the cyber world into YouTube. He was the first one who made me do the face reveal, something which I did not do for 5 years. But he was very sweet to invite me on his channel for an interview. And I thought that I will, start my interview series by making him my first guest, and in a way to thank him and honor him for his contribution. So he's a sweetheart. He's a real sweetheart. One of the sweetest astrologers you will ever meet. So look at that smile.
Thank you so much, sir.
So
Thank you so much for your
so
kind words.
yeah. So Muthu, if you could give a small introduction to all our viewers so that they know who you are and what is it that you do apart from astrology,
Sure,
and
sir.
then how did you come to astrology? Okay,
Sure, sir. Sure, sure.
start.
Namaskaram to all viewers. Thank you, sir. It's been an honor to be here in your channel. So my name is, for all viewers, my name is Muthu Vijayan Ilango. So I'm an astrologer, author, instructor, and life coach practicing at innovativeastrosolution.com. So to give a little bit of background, so I come from the lineage of astrology family. My father is an astrologer. So he worked as a full-time employee in Indian Railways, and he also practicing astrology during weekends. So I learned astrology in the year 2002 when I was doing my second year of college. So I did my BTech in mechanical engineering, then MTech in refrigeration and air conditioning, both in Chennai, College of Engineering, Gindi, Chennai. So I learned astrology in 2002 when I was in college. After that, I was like practicing for my friends. I was not doing as a professional consulting, but now and then I was doing a little bit of help to my friends and close circles. So it is then then I worked in two different companies. One first in the IT company in Chennai from 2007 to 10. Then another mechanical company in Bangalore. It's an MNC company from 2010 to 2018. So in 2017, I started astrology consulting as a professional service. Then in 2018, I made a call that I wanted to fully dedicate my life to astrology. So I resigned my job from the corporate world and settled down in Coimbatore. So right now, full time into astrology consulting as well as teaching. So
Excellent.
this is my
Excellent.
background.
And just to let people know, since he is an engineer, he is taking care of all the tech in this thing. He has been taking care of it end to end. So Muthu, thanks a ton, man. I'm horrible.
Yeah, probably like that's the reason maybe God have given chance to work in engineering company to know all this tech. So this really helping me. To do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Muthu, what prompted you to? What was the trigger point that made you say, "Okay, I don't want a corporate job. I want to dedicate my life to astrology"? What made you take that call?
Okay, so I think it was in 2017 I started consulting, professional consulting. Apart from my job in the evenings, I started doing it. But at that time, I didn't even have a little intention to take it as a full time. But it was in the late 2017 when I was parallelly doing the life coaching certification. So that is when I started taking a lot of self retrospective questions within myself, like what is the purpose of this life, what I am going to do this for this world. So that kind of lot of self realizing exercise I was doing as part of that life coaching. So that is when I started realizing that, okay, my purpose in this birth is to do something in the field of astrology. That at some point I was very clearly very clear in that purpose. So that's when I thought, okay, let me wind up this corporate job. It's okay. It's okay to wind up. And
it takes a lot of courage. I've done that, and I literally had to do it under the threat of a heart attack and a very high pressure this thing.
That's true.
But
That's
I'm
true.
happy that you realized your potential. For me, there was no option. But you, sir, you had an option. You still took the call. So kudos.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you so much.
Muthu, I know the main theme of this discussion is the theory of karma, something you are an expert on, and I would want our viewers to benefit from it. I want you to tell us what attracted you to the theory of karma and what have been your greatest findings. So then we'll let you have your presentation.
Sure. Yeah. So when I started learning astrology in 2002, as a beginner, I went through all the textbooks, reading so much of pages in a day, trying to memorize so much of combinations, all those things. But at some point, there are a lot of unanswered questions. Apart from astrological concepts, there are a lot of unanswered questions. So that's when I introduced the topic of theory of karma and astrology. So there is a book called, I think it's a specific book by Dr. B.V. Raman, where in one particular chapter he explains about the theory of relationship between the theory of karma and astrology. That is the trigger point, first trigger point to the theory of karma. Then when I started reading many philosophical texts, all those things, the theory of karma is one of the profound topic. Without understanding theory of karma, one cannot fully understand the astrology itself.
Yes,
so that is something attracted me so much. And from then, like theory of karma has become my very favorite topic. Wherever I go, like I used to take this as my first topic.
Excellent.
That is my trigger point.
Yeah. So what have been your biggest learning from this theory of karma and your life coaching?
So theory of karma really give me an insight that, okay, apart from reading the planetary influence on human life, there are a lot of potential to improve it. So that point comes only when you fully understand theory of karma, because until we touch upon the theory of karma, we may tend to give astrology as a fatalistic science. Yes. But once you start deep dive into the theory of karma, you can easily realize that, okay, astrology has never been a fatalistic science. Yes. There is a lot of scope for improvement, self-improvement, and going beyond the karma, like beyond operating the karma, like there is a possibility to break free the karma. So all those things I'm going to put together in the slides today. So once I present to the slides, you will get to know like what is the whole theme of the area of karma.
Yeah. And then I'll come with my questions once you are done with your presentation.
Sure. I'll do that.
Okay, let's start.
Sure. Okay, let me start presenting my screen. Then I'll get started. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, anyway, as I told, this is one of my favorite topic, theory of karma. Okay, let's get into it. So let me start with a small story. One day in a village, there is a monk and a countryman was hardly hitting the door of a monastery. A monk opened the door with a smile and courtesy. So the countryman handed over a magnificent grapes to the monk. And he told, this is the finest grape that has grown in my courtyard. I wanted to hand over these grapes to you. So whenever I come to this monastery, you are the one who opened this gate with smile. And he got this grapes. It was really wonderful grapes. But he told, okay, anyway, I will hand over this grapes to the head of the monastery. He will definitely like it. But the countryman told, no. I wanted this grapes to be enjoyed by you. So I specifically brought it for you. But the monastery monk told, I don't think I am eligible to receive this greatest gift of the nature. But this common man told, no, you are perfectly eligible to this grapes, because whenever I come here, you are the one who opens this gate with smile and courtesy. And when my crops were destroyed due to the wind, you are the one who gave me piece of bread every day. So definitely you are eligible to receive this. So I wanted to hand over to you. So he graciously accepted it. And he was just marveled by the wonder of this nature. Then in the evening, he handed over this grape to the head of the monastery, because he thought he is the one who gave all this wisdom to him. So he is like a guru for him. So he handed over the grapes to him. The head of the monastery received it, but he didn't wanted this grapes. He wanted to give it to the one more sick person in the monastery. He thought, okay, at least the sick person will have this grape and he will get some joy. So the grape was handed to the sick person. Then the sick person got this grape, but after seeing the wonderful nature of this grape, he thought, okay, let me give it to my cook, because he is the one who took care of me during the sick period. So last 10-20 days, he was taking me with the great care. So he thought he deserves this wonderful grapes. So when the cook came to his room, he gave this grape to this cook, and he said, you are always with the nature. You take all these fruits and vegetables from the nature and cooking it for all of us and giving it with love. So you are the one who should enjoy these grapes. So he got the grapes and he showed to one of his assistant and explaining how beautiful this grape is. Then he thought, okay, I am not the right person to have this grape. He gave it to the monastery priest, because the priest is the one who is a very, very noble guy. And everyone in this monastery was like praying to him and getting blessings from him. Then it went to the priest. The priest take a look of this magnificent grapes, but then he thought, okay, let me give it to one of the novice monk who recently joined joined as a disciple, because he thought, okay, at least this person will understand the beauty of nature in the smallest creation. So he handed over the grapes to the novice monk. Then the novice monk took this grape and he was also like marveled by the nature of the God's creation. But at the end, he thought, okay, when I came to this monastery, the person who opened the door was really amazed, because he had that smile and courtesy and love. So because of him, after seeing him, I thought, okay, I should join this monastery. So I am here because he opened the gate with a smile and courtesy. So he handed over the grapes to the person who opened the door. So finally, it came to the person. Back to the person. Right. So this really summarizes the one thing, that is like what goes around will comes around to you. So this is the simplest explanation of law of karma. So we are going to dwell into the same concept for the next 30 minutes. Okay. So I thought this story will inspire everyone, and this is like one of the straightforward explanation to the law of karma. Okay. So the another simplest explanation that everyone can understand on law of karma is cause and effect. So this is what you are seeing in the screen is the Newton's third law. For every action, that is force in nature, there is equal and opposite reaction. So
once an engineer, always an engineer.
Yeah, this is something really inspires everyone, right? Everyone can understand this law. Even a scientist can agree that, okay, cause and effect is something. And all this principle, based on this Newton's third law, we developed all the rockets and engines and flights.
Yeah.
So this is the simplest explanation to the law of karma.
Absolutely. Lovely.
Okay. So now let's little deeper into the problem of evil. So why should we believe in karma first? Right? That's a big question. Comes to each one of us. So for that, there is one of the oldest problem of this world that is called, we call it as problem of evil. Okay. If God is all powerful, then why did suffering exist in this world? So when we go into the road, we see that many people are suffering. Some people suffer due to the physical illness. Some people suffer due to the mental illness, suffering all through the world, right? So this is called the problem of evil. Like if God is all powerful, all omnipotent, God is powerful of doing anything in this world, then why did the suffering happens, right? This is one of the profound questions that we should ask to get insight. Yeah. And why do some people suffer and others rejoice? That also we are saying, right? Some people, without much effort, they rejoice, they get benefits. And some people, even despite putting a lot of efforts, they do suffer.
The most asked question ever.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. And why so much of disparity in human life? It's not equal, right? Even though we always tend to fight for equality, but we can always see from the society there is a lot of inequality. So why that is disparity is there? So This profound question altogether is called problem of evil. And Professor A.L. Harman, who is the author of this book, The Problem of Evil and Indian Thought, presents 23 answers for the first question. Why, if God is powerful, omnipotent, why there is suffering exist in this world? And of course, there are many answers of this 23. Out of this 23, maybe I'll explain one example. Some believe that, okay, God made us to suffer so that we will understand the suffering and we will self-realize. Okay, that is one answer out of this 23. But if that is true, but in all religion, God is said to be loving person, right? God is always loving person. And we as a parent, we never wanted our children to suffer, right? Because we love our children. And God is the parent of the entire universe, right? We are all child of God. So if God is the parent of us, then why he should make us suffer? So that's not something very convincing answer, right? And if he is all omnipotent, he can remove the suffering in 1 second, right? Entire suffering of this world, he can remove in 1 second. But it is not happening. So Professor Harman discusses like 23 answers for this problem of evil. And do you know what is the most convincing answer?
No.
The law of karma. At the end, he convinces that all the Indian philosophy, like it is whether Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, in all, Jainism, everywhere, the law of karma is a concept that is universally accepted. And he says that in the end of this book, he says that the law of karma is one of the most convincing answer to the problem of evil, because the problem itself is created by our own karma. It's not the God who created the problem. It is our own karma that is created the problem. So the solution is within us. So the God is still omnipotent, and he is still loving. And that's why he not interferes with our law of karma. It is our own karma which is creating all the problems. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we see the cause and effect, which is the scientific principle of Newton's third law. Now we want to understand, okay, how this cause and effect occurs in the human life. Okay. Our first action, okay, as of now, let's understand this as an action, but it's not only the action that's create karma, which we are going to see in the subsequent slides. But our first action with ignorance is what kicks in the causality. Okay, when I say causality, it is the good and bad and good and bad. Okay, that is called law of karma. So that first action with ignorance created the causality, which in turn creates the cycle of birth and death. Okay, and this is what we call it as a doctrine of karma. And this is a kind of a cycle. Once the first action is kicked in, the causality is kicked in, then the cycle of birth and death will continue and continue and continue. So it's kind of a vicious cycle.
Yes.
So this is what we call it as a doctrine of karma. Okay, now the biggest question is, only the actions create karma. Is that true? Because karma, the name itself, the karma itself is called as action. So most people think that the action is only that creates karma. So this is one of the profound question that I had many years, because I also thought that, okay, only actions creates karma.
Yeah, that's what most people think.
Correct. And until then, when I read Mahabharata, and one particular scene, Krishna beautifully clarifies this doubt. So before the war happens in Mahabharata, Draupadi talks to Krishna with a frustration that, okay, all this humiliation is caused by all these 100 Kauravas. So she told in anger that I wanted to kill all these 100 Kauravas. They created this humiliation to me, and they spoiled my reputation. And Krishna calms down her, and he says that, okay, your humiliation is true, and whatever you are going through, I understand the pain. But you are by whatever you are telling, right, the action you are trying to take on Kauravas, you are trying to create a wrong karma. As of now, you should not set this action with current intention. But Draupadi was not convinced. She asked, like, okay, after doing all this humiliation to me, do you want me to free them without killing them? And Krishna replies that, okay, no, I'm not saying that Duryodhana should be stopped from killing. He should be punished for sure. But you should set your actions with a different intention. Okay, instead of saying that, okay, he humiliated me, so I am going to take vengeance on him. But instead, you take intention like this. The amount of pain and humiliation that I got should never be happen again to any woman in this world. With this intention, you kill Duryodhana, all your karma is clear now. There is no karma to you, because now the intention is not to take revenge. Now the intention is to keep the world with peace. You are making that, okay, whatever I got the pain, no woman in this world is going to get it. So you set this intention, you are free of karma. Wow. So this is the profound advice from Sri Krishna. So he says that it is not simply that action creates karma, but the intention behind this performed action sets the karma.
Yeah.
So to give an example, like for example, the criminal also do a murder, right? The police officer, sometimes due to his duty, he have to kill the person, right? Yeah. Kill the evil person. But the intention between this killer and the policeman is completely different. The killer kills the person in order to show his temper and in order to do some mischievous, right? So his intention is completely wrong. So he is going to create a bad karma for himself.
Yes.
But policeman, on the other hand, he is going to kill a person, kill a thief, so that he is going to save the entire place, entire people. So many people he is going to save. So he is not going to create any karma. So listeners, so you should understand that the action is not the one that creates karma. It is the intention along with the good action creates the
karma. Good point. Very, very good point. Please continue.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now let's jump into the concept of what is the different types of karma, because without understanding different types of karma, we will not able to know how the astrology is linked with karma. So there are three types of karma. The first is called Sanchita karma, which is the total accumulated karma. And the next one is called Prarabdha karma, which is one of the finite portion from the Sanchita karma. And the third one is called Agamya karma, which is again, which of the karma which is not yet realized. Okay, so the Sanchita is the total, of which we take some portion in this life, which is called Prarabdha, and which is yet to be taken is called as Agami. Okay. So let me explain this with an example. So we saw that the karma is the action with intentions, right? So when we do a good action, that is called dharma, which leads to punya. Okay, so when we do a good action, we are accumulating punya, and this punya will result in sukha. Sukha means it's a good results, happiness, correct? And we also do sometimes adharma, which is a bad action with bad intentions, which in turn give rise to paba, and the paba will give results of dukkha, which is a sorrow. Okay, so this cumulative effect of dharma with punya and adharma with paba put together is what is called Sanchita karma. So Sanchita karma has both good dharma and some of adharma. So I have taken an apple as a dharma to just to show, and the chili as a adharma. Okay, so this cumulative is called Sanchita karma. Okay, now this total Sanchita karma of our total good action and adharma, bad actions, we take some portion in this birth, which is called Prarabdha karma. Okay, sometimes in some birth we may take more adharma, like we reap more bad results, like more dukkha and little bit of shuga. So in that birth we may be having more of sorrow, more of suffering, all those things. But sometimes in this birth we may have more shuga and less of paba. So for those people, they may be reaping more good results and less of bad results. Okay, so this by this you can understand, okay, some people are suffering more in this life and some people are suffering less in this life. So that's because of the mix and match of our Sanchita karma, which is our called Prarabdha karma. Okay. Okay. Now we are coming to the important point of astrology, the relationship between astrology and theory of karma. So this is one of the famous quote from Swami Yukteswar, who is the guru of Swami Paramahamsa Yogananda. So this is one of the famous book in the field of spirituality, the autobiography of Yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda, and Yukteswar is his guru. So he correct Yukteswar, Sri Swami Yukteswar. So he tells to Paramahamsa Yogananda, says that a child is born on that day at that hour when the celestial rays are in mathematical harmony with one's individual karma. His horoscope is a challenging patriot, revealing his unalterable past and its probable future results. So this clearly indicates what is the relationship between astrology and karma. So we saw that in the total Sanchita karma, we take some finite portion in this birth, which is called Prarabdha karma. And that Prarabdha karma is clearly indicated in the horoscope. So according to what our Prarabdha karma, we take birth in a particular day, particular time, in a particular place, which is what the three information used to cast a horoscope.
Yes.
So our entire horoscope is just a picture of our Prarabdha karma. Okay. So now we understood what is the relationship between astrology and karma. Then what the horoscope reveals then. Okay. So let's take an analogy to explain this. Let us assume you have a kitchen and in the morning you are cooking in a hurry because you wanted to get ready to office and accidentally you spilled the oil. Okay. But you are in a very hurry. You have to get to the office in next 10-15 minutes. So you don't have time to wipe it off. Okay. So you went to the office. And in the office, you spent the entire day with a lot of work and it was totally a hectic day. And while coming in the evening, you totally forget what happened in the morning. Okay. So you enter into the kitchen in the evening and without knowing what happened in the morning, you fell down. Okay. This is what's happening. Now, let us understand the same scenario with a different situation. Okay. The same thing, same story. In a same morning, you are cooking with a hurry to get ready to office. You accidentally spill the oil and you don't have time to wipe it off. You went to the office. It is the same hectic day. And you come back to the home. But this time, when you enter the home, you see a signboard. It says that, okay, there is an oil. Please take a caution. Okay, now you have a free will. Okay, there is an oil. I am able to see that. You take an effort, wipe it off. Now you are not falling down. Okay, this is what exactly horoscope is revealing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because you have done something wrong in your past birth, which is what is accumulated as a karma, and some portion of that karma is what indicated in the horoscope as a Prarabdha karma. Okay. Now this your horoscope indicates certain planetary positions, says that, okay, this is because of your consequence of past karma, this bad thing is going to happen during this Dasha Bhukti. So please take care. So when you go to astrologer is simply giving the warning signs. Okay, this is what's happening. Your marriage life is going to be ruined. Your next job is going to be hectic. Your investments is going to be in loss. So all these are like a signboards. He is giving an indication. If you take an action, if you take effort to clear it off, you have an option to clear it off. So
at least you can minimize the damage.
Exactly. You cannot completely avoid, but of course you cannot go back and take the oil into bottle. That's not possible because it's an action that is you already performed. You cannot undo the action, but you have an option to wipe it off and make it. You can at least make that, okay, you're not falling it. Okay, so it's not completely undoable, but you can at least make some efforts to minimize the effort. So horoscope simply gives the signposts and caution notes of our life. Okay, so far we have seen what is karma, what is indicated in the horoscope, and what horoscope reveals. Now let's little get deeper into where it all started, because until we don't know where it all started, how I have done, there is no scope for get escape from the karma. Okay, but at the end of the day, we should get completely out of the karma, because that is the final goal of all the philosophies. Okay,
Yes.
of Hinduism.
Mukti.
Mukti, correct, exactly. So that's the point. So how it all started? So it all started with ignorance of true self, because human, we think that we are all this body, this mind, and because of this body and this mind, we tend to enclose our true nature into the small bucket of our body. We think that okay, I am this body, I am this mind, but that is the ignorance of true self. Our true self is different. That's what Advaita Vedanta says, that our true self is Atman. Atman is completely free of all the karma. Okay, so because of our ignorance, we started doing the action, and that action kicks in the karma, and the karma continues. Good action, punya; bad action, paba, and punya gives the shuka, and paba gives the dukkha, and we tend to get stuck into the cycle of birth and death and birth and death. But there will be one question in the listener's mind. Okay, if at all I am ignorant, is it possible to clear the ignorant? Right? And why this ignorance started? Why I am ignorant in the first place? But the philosophical answer to this question of ignorance is the ignorance has no starting point. It may be a little puzzling to the listeners, but the truth is ignorance never had any starting point. Let me give an example. If I ask you, do you know French?
No.
So from how long you are ignorant of French?
Since birth.
From birth, at least from birth. But you may not, even before birth, you know French. We don't know. We don't know. So there is no starting point of any ignorance. If you ask me I don't know German, of course. But if you ask me from when I don't know German, I don't have answer. Maybe from birth, or maybe in the previous birth also I may not know German. So the ignorance never had any starting point, but it has ending point. The moment you start learning something, the ignorance start moving from inch by inch. If I start learning German from tomorrow, the ignorance starts moving little by little. So after 1 year, if I am become master in German, then the ignorance of German is gone. So the ignorance, the power to remove the ignorance is knowledge. So as a human, we are all ignorant of our true self, and because of that, we are doing some action, and because of that, we are creating karma, and because of that, we are stuck into the cycle of birth and death and birth and death. So moment we start understanding our true nature, there is a huge scope to understand our true self, and because of understanding the true self, we can unwind our karma, and we can break free the karma. And this is the one of the important note from Swami Vivekananda, and he beautifully summarizes that any person, if they are ready to break free the karma, they are beyond all the planetary influence. Okay, until then, the horoscope is necessary. So this is a beautiful sentence from Swami Vivekananda himself. So let me read out for you, for the audience, because it's very, very beautiful. Two wheels joined by one pole are running together. If I get hold of one of the wheel and with an axe cut the pole asunder, the wheel which I have got the hold of stops. But upon the other wheel is its past momentum, so it runs on a little, then falls down. This pure and perfect being, the soul, is the one wheel, and this external hallucination of body and mind is the other wheel, joined together by the pole of work of karma. The knowledge is the axe, which will sever the bond between the two, and the wheel of the soul will stop. Stop thinking that it is coming and going, living and dying. Stop thinking that it is the nature and has wants and desires, and will find that it's perfect and desireless. But upon the other wheel, that of the body and mind, will be will be the moment of past acts, so it will live for some time until the moment of past work is exhausted. Until that momentum is worked away, and then the body and mind fall, and the soul becomes free. No more is there any going to heaven and coming back, not even any going to the Brahma Loka or to the any highest of the spheres. For where he to come from and where to go. The man who has in this life attained to this state, for whom, for a minute at least, the ordinary vision of the world has changed and the reality has been apparent. He is called the living free.
Jivan
So
Mukta.
he, correct, Jivan
The word.
Mukta. So
Beautiful.
yeah, so we are joined with the body and mind by the soul with the work of karma. So the karma is the bind between the body and the soul. So until we are in the cycle of karma, we have to go through the birth and death and birth and death and sukha and dukkha. We have to go through this. And once we know the knowledge of true nature, and if we can work on to cut the karma with the knowledge of karma, cut this body and mind with the soul, and the soul is completely free of birth and death. So this is the utmost ultimate action we need to perform. But until then, it's not something possible in one birth. To understand this point itself, we need to go through several births, because we once we get into the world of Maya, like we will get into the action of doing and reaping the results and doing and reaping the results. So we stuck into the cycle of karma. So we stuck into that, and with the many birth, little bit of knowledge in each birth, we come to one position where we know that okay, this is our true self, and from then once the chain is broken, we are free from the birth and death. And once we are free from the birth and death, of course we are totally free from the cycle of karma, and we are free from the planetary influence. So to summarize all this, what we discussed in the entire presentation, so the ignorant man starts with his ignorance, starts the action, and the action kicks in the karma, the cycle of karma, and the cycle of karma creates the birth and death and rebirth, and this vicious cycle goes in around. So moment the knowledge of self started, of course, to get the knowledge of self, we need some guru. At some point in time, everyone will get some guru. So the guru will guide through his knowledge. We will try to understand the true nature of human, our true nature of our soul. Then with that act, from that point, we will start performing the action without any attachment. So when we perform an action without attachment, we are not getting into any karma. Only the past karma will be there. So
no, this was one of the questions which I had. How to avoid making more karma. Yes.
Okay. So the action without attachment is the starting point to not accumulating any new karma. Of course, we have to exhaust all our old karma. Until then, we have to have a birth and death. Once all the our karma is exhausted, there is a possibility to become a Jivan Mukta. So at that time, we are totally free of karma. There is no life, there is no birth, there is no death, and there is no planetary influence. So until we get to that point, astrology is the only best time telescope.
Oh yes.
And that is where the astrology is one of the best signs to help the human life.
Yes.
I think that's all I have, sir.
Excellent. Very deep, Muthu, very deep. I'm impressed. So now, if you allow, we'll start with some questions.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, we'll go through the questions.
I won't take very long. I have a small list.
Sure, sir.
So
I'll try to answer best of my knowledge. Of course, maybe something I may not
of course, all of us are somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
None of us is enlightened, but I think you have studied this subject very well. So, of course, I would want to learn from you, and I would want the viewers to learn from you. And with Jupiter in the first, you are more than qualified to teach all of us.
Thank you,
sir. So, the two most important questions which I almost always get, and as an astrologer, we get them like 80-90% of the time: my money, my relationships, and number 3 is my health.
Correct.
So what can a person do to improve his money karma?
Money karma. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll get a lot of views on this answer.
Okay. So basically, charity is the one of the best way. I would say charity is one of the best way to, because the materialistic attachment is what creating all those financial troubles, right? So when you try to give more charity, of course, with more intention should be pure. Because without having a good intention, even if you do a lot of charity, if someone do a lot of charity, it is not going to help. So with good intention to help many people, to have a betterment of the world, doing a lot of charity will definitely help to the
Okay,
financial
so
troubles.
sometimes people come, okay, I'm financially in a crunch, I don't have a lot of money, so how do I start my charity?
That's correct. That's an important question. That's true. But somehow we need to allocate some money, right? Of course, even in financial crunch, we have some phone to recharge. We are going to have a food. We are going to have some basic amenities, right? So like that, we have to allocate some basic amenity to charity. So that will definitely help, in my view. That's the one of the best way to.
Yeah.
But again, we should not expect the results to be happen immediately, because nobody know what is the total sanchita karma. Of course, we know some of the prabdha karma is what we inherited in this birth, but whatever you do, at least it will add up to your sanchita karma. At least, if not some completely relieved from your financial troubles in this life, but it will definitely help you to accumulate good sanchita karma, and eventually it will reap the results as a shuka.
And second question I get, and I often get it from ladies more than men, relationships. That's the big deal. So,
correct. Again, the same thing, like what I told, no? The example of Panchali, like Krishna told, right? Whatever the hurdle I got in my life, no woman should get this. So if somebody is in a relationship trouble, they should come into a position where, okay, I am into deep trouble, but at least whatever trouble I am facing, nobody should get into it. So some form of others. For example, if somebody, you can start spending money for people who are already into relationship trouble. You can take them to a counselor, or if you, for example, if somebody, because of their relationship trouble, learned a lot of new insights about relationship, how one should act in a relationship, how one should avoid these kind of troubles in relationship, then share it with the public itself is a good karma. For example, they can make a video, tell them, okay, this is what all the mistakes I did in my life. Okay, if you want to keep a good relationship, please don't do this. Share it with us a knowledge. That itself will create a good karma. So that these are all some
this day and age, it's very easy to share knowledge. I mean, look at us, two normal guys.
But to come to that position, it requires a lot of maturity, because obviously, as a human mind, right, when we are in trouble, we are always focused inward, like I wanted to solve, but somehow it should have vision to help others. That's something it's very difficult, but if somebody come to that position, definitely it will improve their relationship.
Acha Muthu, I have one observation. I don't know if that actually, if I am the only person observing it, or my data is screwed. What I have seen is, whenever people try to do a remedy for a particular planet, for a particularly bad planet, there is always a lot of hurdles in their path. You know, the toughest planet in the chart, he is going to make the remedy very, very difficult. You can do remedy for an easier planet, okay? But the toughest planet is going to make it very tough. And at times what I've seen is, if let's say somebody tries a very radical action, let's say somebody is facing major money troubles and he suddenly pours 1 month's money into charity, I have observed that for a short while they have to go through hell. I don't know if that is your observation or not. I'm still trying to, put my data together and wrap my head around it. So
Understood.
since you have studied karma so much, I thought you might be able to shed some light on this.
Basically, I am not suggesting any remedies to any of my clients. Basically, sometimes I say this kind of charity, and many a times I would ask them to go for a meditation, because trying to self-realize, it's not a complete Jivan Mukta. I'm just trying to say, like, trying to improve the consciousness through meditation. So these are all the two things I usually suggest. So I don't have much experience to share on this particular.
But have you ever seen somebody who suddenly started doing charity, something went wrong?
No, I am not. I am not.
Okay.
Encountered.
Maybe I need to do more research on that. So another question is, how do I get good karma and avoid bad karma?
Okay. So avoiding bad karma, of course, once we should clearly know what is dharma. Okay, that is very important. Unless we know, okay, what is dharma, we may tend to do wrong things. Okay, so as I already mentioned, no. So whenever you do an action, set the intention right. That is the very first point. Whatever action you do, set the intention right. Once you set the intention right, obviously you will start building the good karma. Okay, the entire accumulated bad karma we cannot wipe off in one single birth. We have to go through the dukkha, sorrow at some point in time. But at least going through the suffering without attachment at least gives some quicker relieving of that sorrow.
And how do I avoid bad karma? How do I avoid creating bad karma?
Same thing, no. Like even if you try to do an action without good intention, obviously we are creating a bad karma. For example, in outer world, I am trying to do good, but in my wholeheartedly, if I am not doing, if I am doing with a bad intention, obviously I am creating a bad karma. So the same answer here again. Do good action with good intention.
Good intention. Good.
It takes care of both. It will remove your bad karma and it increases your good karma.
Yeah. And Muthu, when it comes to Jivan Mukta and Moksha Yoga, we typically, there's an astrological theory that Ketu in the 12th is a Jivan Mukta, and I've seen this. My spiritual guide, I can't take her name. She's barred me from taking her name. She was a Jivan Mukta. She had a 12th house Ketu. Her guru, he was a realized Jivan Mukta. She was a work in progress. He was a realized one. He told me, okay, this is who I am. When I looked at his chart, I was like, wow. And I said, Vikram bhai, you are so at this level. And he said, yeah, very modestly. Yeah, I'm a Jivan Mukta. So I understand that.
Correct.
So what has been, so is there any other combination that indicates toward the Jivan Mukta or something like that? Or is it only Ketu in the 12th?
Usually, this is something I also read, like Ketu in the 12th house gives moksha. So the 12th house mainly gives moksha, and 9th house is the house of spirituality.
Yeah.
And Jupiter is the planet of wisdom.
Yes.
So basically, when Jupiter, 9th house, 12th house are all fortified, then basically that person will try to attain that knowledge.
Yeah.
Of course, it may not happen in a single birth. Only with the right guru and dedication, it may happen. But at least the starting point will happen.
Okay, which is the planet that you see denotes the most difficult karma?
Probably Saturn. I'm not sure.
I mean, this is one planet. I mean, barring 11th house Shani, there is no such thing like a happy Shani. Second house Shani can give you a lot of money. 10th house Shani can give you a lot of power. But happiness, I have seen only in 11th house Shani. Every other Shani will give you some sort of.
So, of course, all the malefics, in my view, it may indicate all your bad karma. Probably Sunny is more related. Maybe sometimes
that's the heavyweight. I mean, he is the heavyweight. So he is like a bull among calves. Shani is powerful. Man, Shani is powerful. I mean, whenever I look at a man's chart and you want to know what his life would be about, you look at the Shani ka khana and you know what is going to happen to Divya. I have a Shani in the 9th.
Okay.
I have a Shani in the 9th. So all my life I have been a philosopher since my teenage. So my friends gave me a nickname Baba. Now when they look at my videos, I get those WhatsApp messages. Baba, you have become a full Baba. Yes, 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 yes. So, you are a life coach and an astrologer. So, if you see a man with a tough chart, let's say you see this man should not get married.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
There are, especially with Shani or Ketu involvement, there are charts when you say why you don't get married, you will get into problem. So, how do you convince them that marriage is not the right thing for you to do? Because in India, you might or might not do matriculation, but you will definitely have to do marriage.
right, I agree. So basically, for to my clients, I never say that you should not marry. That kind of predictions I generally don't give. What I say them is like your seventh house is too much afflicted. It is going to be really tough marriage life. So I ask them to take care of horoscope matching, because that is one form of free will we have, at least some point. If you are able to match a very good horoscope, you can reduce the intensity of suffering. So that I will tell them. I'll ask them to make sure that you properly match the horoscope.
One thing, and Muthu, this is my pet peeve. Sorry to interrupt you. This is my pet peeve. One of my missions before I die in my life, I want to destroy the nonsense called Guna Milan. People do not know how to match two horoscopes. I translated books on Guna Milan because I was getting the money. And when I read it, I wanted to tear my hair out. They would tell you an Aries moon and a Cancer moon would be very happy. Oh, balle balle. They are like very, the owners of the Rashis are the friends, so they'll be very happy. And I'm like, boss, that's fire and water, both are cardinal. They'll eat each other alive. What on earth? So, folks, if you want to get your horoscope matched, please go to somebody who does not use Guna Milan. If Guna Milan worked, there would be no divorces in Hindu arranged marriage.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah. And one thing which I've seen, love marriages, it's ridiculous matching horoscopes. What's your take?
That's right. Yeah, I am also have the same opinion. Like, if it is already in a relationship, doing a marriage horoscope matching, I generally even deny it. Like whenever somebody comes to me for a love marriage horoscope matching, I usually say, okay, better.
Arranged marriage, that's fine. You need to know something about the unknown devil. Love marriage is unknown devil. And what I've seen is either these charts have some lovely compatibility, somewhere the moon is in harmony, or they have a very heavy karmic relationship. And you know that these two will get married and most probably will get a divorce, but they will get married. They won't listen to you.
No, as you said, right, when the horoscope matching is not about only the nakshatra Gun Milan, right? It is basically the holistic matching. Like when I do the horoscope,
whole shebang, especially the moon.
Everything you have to see, like, is there any separation combination? Is the childbirth is indicated? Whether the longevity of marriage is indicated? All those things we have to see.
Yes.
So that is very important.
Great. So, Muthu, last two questions I have. I hope you have time for that.
Yes.
I know you somehow hustled out some time tonight. It wasn't supposed to be like that. And I'm so thankful. Ketu ruined my sleep cycle. I just wake up whenever. So, at times people ask, okay, I know this is my karma. I know I will not get a child, or I know I will not get a lot of money. How do I come to peace with that?
Okay. See, as we already discussed, now astrology is not a fatalistic science. So we can see what are the consequences of past karma through horoscope. But that is not a limiting factor. It's, as I mentioned, it is a signboard. Okay, when I see signboard, for example, if you drive a car and in the road it says it's accident zone, we are not stopping our vehicle, right? Of course, we are not stopping. We are saying, oh, okay, this is accident prone zone. I need to drive it carefully. So same thing applies to horoscope also. Like, it really indicates what is possible future. It's not definite. It's not indicating definite future. So we have to give our effort, because the human effort will definitely reap results. It can reduce the intensity. So the amount of free will has to be there for any human.
Okay. So now you have been a life coach. What has been your biggest learning as a life coach and your biggest learning as an astrologer?
Yeah. So the astrology and life coach go hand in hand, because In fact, all the astrologer, in my view, is a life coach.
Absolutely good point. Beautiful point. Yes.
Because the life coaching is all about trying.
Astrology is life coaching.
Yeah,
that is actually life coaching.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah. So the life coaching is nothing but we are trying to see what this person is best to do,
yes,
what he should not do. That's something we are able to read through life coaching. Yes. We are not directly asked them to do this, do not do this. We are trying to help them to find best of their potential. Mm-hmm. And after knowing that, they will know what to do.
Yeah.
We are, as a life coach, the job is to not tell them to do this, tell them not do this. That's not the job of life coach. The life coach, after a few interactions with the client, will be able to know what is best suited for them by asking profound questions and answering. When the client answers them, they themselves will know, oh, okay, this is best part of me. I should do this.
You know, most of the life coaches, I'm talking about the one without astrology help. You know, there's the one size fits all wala funda. Astrologers at least know, okay, this man will do this, this person is fit for this. So that puts me, I've worked for a very long time in HR. And why I love astrology so much, I'll tell you. I would go and tell people, look, nature will always beat nurture no matter what you do.
Mm.
A boy cut out for a business mindset will never last in a job for very long. I'm yet to see a son in the first person end their career in a job unless it's a government job.
Mm-hmm.
Shani wala, I'm yet to find them start a company or find a business. That doesn't happen. So, it's beautiful that you are able to combine the logical and the astrological. I always say, boss, in astrological, logical is the more important.
That's
so
right.
It's great that you are combining these two and helping so many people. Please share your website details once again and how people can reach you for consultation and life coaching. Please, people, he's a lovely guy. You won't regret dealing with him. So, Muthu, please mention your website and your contact details if you wish, so that people can reach you. Yeah.
Sure. So people can reach me through innovativeastrosolutions.com. And you can see all my contents in YouTube also in the same name, innovativeastrosolutions.com. And I can leave my number in the description, or I can tell directly. It's 90084772228. It's my number. You can directly reach to me for any astrological help. And I also teach astrology through Udemy. So people who are interested to become a full-time astrologer, I have a defined curriculum. You can learn from online astrology course. And after that, if you want to deepen your knowledge, I also do mentorship.
Great. So thank you, Muthu. Thank you so much. You are a sweetheart. Love you 3000. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really honored, and it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Catch up.